Okay, class, we are looking at the Tugendhat Villa, the Mies van der Rohe building. We're looking how to do this oblique view. What you're going to need to start is a taped down, we're going to start on the third floor, tape down your third floor. You're going to need a 45-degree triangle. You're going to need your parallel bar. I'm using a T-square here. And you're going to need to print out all of your elevations, sections, and plans separately so you can have one taped down and then be able to reference the elevation or so on the other one. Tape it down, everything at a right angle. You're going to tape down your floor plan at a 45-degree angle. It's very important that that is straight and level. I put a piece of trace over this, and the first thing that we should do is just, and I marked here in red, my red is what you should do in light pencil. If it helps you do it in red, go ahead, but I used red for the purposes of this video. But you can see that you draw first a red outline around the base of the floor. So in this case, it's the third floor. This is just where the walls of the third floor meet the floor of the third floor. So I just traced over those exterior walls. And now we're going to look at this west elevation. I'm going to look at the west elevation here. And if I locate the base of the third floor right here, then I can start to scale, and using my 1/16 inch scale, I can see that from this floor line to the roof is about 15 feet using that scale. I take that back to my drawing. From the corner, I draw a projection line up. It doesn't have to be accurate. These are drafting lines. And then I'm going to mark off 15 feet. I'm going to mark off 15 feet. And I will have my base point here and a high point here that's 15 feet up. With orthographic projection, you can continue that line, or you can also scale it from this corner up 15 feet. Gives you these 2 points. If you took your triangle and your T-square and aligned them, you can connect those points and you can see that we've created this west wall. You're going to do that for the other corners too. Here's a corner here. And we can connect those dots, and all you have to do now is go from here with your 45-degree triangle and just continue, and where those lines meet, it will be the same height. And you're going to do the same with all the corners of all the other parts of the building. Just draw a dimension line, just a drafting line up, 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 and then scale off 15 feet. Since you know the height of the roof is 15 feet, you'll scale it off. And then you can use your triangle again to just draw a line and follow, and wherever you meet a corner, it's going to be 15 feet. You'll do this all the way around, and before you know it, you'll have all the faces of the walls that you're going to be seeing. Now we're going to come in and start drawing vertical drafting lines wherever we have openings in windows. And you can see I've drawn in red these window openings. I don't know what the height is yet. I just need to know what that dimension is. We can go back to here. You can see that I'm looking for this window right here. And I'm drawing these windows all right here just by projecting up, up, up. Now I'm going to look at the elevation, and if this is the bottom of the third floor, we know that our windows go up to a height of about 13 feet. And the smaller windows are 2 feet lower than that. So from here to here must be 11, then to here it must be 13 feet, and to the top it must be 15 feet. We're going to use that information to locate our windows. So here you come up, you scale up, and you mark off 15 feet to here, or sorry, 13 feet, and then 2 feet down for that small window. And you do that over here as well, all the way across. And now we're going to do the larger windows. And we know that this mullion here is 2 feet down. Otherwise, these windows go all the way down to the floor. So we're going to draw those in as well. We'll draw the mullion in here, and we'll follow our projection lines and just fill them in. They go floor to ceiling. Then I'm going to look at the front. You see this window right here on the front elevation or the south elevation. That's going to be this window right here. So we want to translate now from this window to this window, this opening. And what we're going to do is you draw a line showing where the bottom of your floor is, and you go up and you measure. This looks like it's about 4 feet. This window starts 4 feet above the floor. So you go back and you mark off 4 feet right here, and that's going to tell you how high that window is off the floor. You mark it off. You use your triangle to draw a line at that same angle that makes it also 4 feet on this side, and you can see that you have your window right there. Now I want to know how high the window is, and so I'm going to scale it up, and it appears that it's roughly about 8 feet high. So I'm going to mark off the top of the window and draw a line across, and there you have that window. And just for clarity, I have highlighted all the windows in orange so you see where the openings are. Now I'm going to make my way over here, and I'm going to look at this window right here, which is going to be this window right here. This one right here is this window. You can see I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 windows on this wall. Those are 1, 2, 3, and 4 windows. Same procedure. I scale them up. I see that they're 13 feet high. And so I'm going to mark off 13 feet high on my vertical drafting line. I have a point right here. That's the top of the window. I'm going to show some of these different details with the mullions. You can see, you can easily scale those off. But now I'm going to take my line across, and I'm going to show that these are the outline of the windows. As I look at that window right there, I can start to draw the mullions in the 4 windows. And there you have these 4 windows, and you do the same over here. Project up, scale off the elevation, and complete the windows. And before you know it, you will have these windows here and these windows here. And again, I've marked off in orange where the windows are, just for clarity. You can already know, looking at this, that because of this wall, you won't see this part of this wall over here, because of this plane right here is going to be ultimately hiding this. So I did not mark that off as window. And this is what you have. Now I'm going to use green for the deck. There's a deck out here, and I'm just tracing this off of my 3rd floor. There's a deck out here. I'm going to go to my elevation, and I see that that deck is about 4 feet high. So I'm going to come back to my oblique, and I'm going to measure up 4 feet using my 16th inch scale. That gives me a point right there, that if I draw a projection line in either direction, it will continue to be 4 feet. The beauty of this is, you know, this point down here, if you just do a drafting line up, and you draft a line this way, where those 2 lines meet is going to be the same 4 foot. So I'm going to project back to complete that guardrail. I'm going to project back, and you can see that you have your 3rd floor guardrail. I took the floor plan out. You can now see what this looks like. You have all the faces of the 3rd floor plus the deck. And that's probably all you need for now. Now we're going to move on to the 2nd floor. Same idea. We're drawing the edge of the building, and don't be fooled. This is a stair and a patio, but this is really the edge of the building here. I follow along in red. It's going to come all the way around this way. I'm going to do the same thing. If I draw a line where the second floor starts and here's where the third floor starts, there's going to be an 11-foot difference. That means the second floor is 11 feet high floor to floor. I will pick my corner and I will measure up 11 feet. I draw my drafting line and I mark off right here 11 feet. That's my point right here. Remember, this is only the second floor now. I'm not going to worry about the other floors yet. Again, with that same principle, you take that 45-degree angle and you draw it over here. You draw a vertical line here where these 2 points meet. It's going to be the same as this. You no longer have to measure once you get it once. You also can run a projection line to the right, which will represent the top of the second floor. And you do that all the way around. You project up on your corners and you find the one dimension that you've scaled and you take that line, and everywhere it meets, it's the top of that floor. And this is what you're going to have as kind of a box. Then we're going to measure windows again. And here I'm measuring that this window is about 3 feet. The bottom of this window is about 3 feet above the second floor line. So we're going to mark these off. You see that I have already projected all of the windows just with vertical drafting lines. Vertical drafting lines at all the windows, all the openings. I measure 4 feet off of this and I get this point right here. I take my drafting line and I go across that way, and you know that all these windows have the same base. That's what they look like. We know that the window comes up to the underside of the third floor, so we take that line all the way up. Now I'm going to look at this window right here. It's actually right here. It's right here on the front elevation. Okay. And now I'm going to look at all the windows. Now I'm going to look at this big window that goes along the front. That's this window right here. That's this window right here. If you look close on the floor plan, you can see the columns, the mullions on the window right here. I'm going to mark those off just as a tracing off the floor plan. And then I can project up. And I know that from the elevation, these windows all just go all the way up the entire floor. So I'm going to complete that view by projecting all these lines up, coming all the way around. I've worked on this window the same way I worked on these windows. And then I filled them in with orange just to show where the windows start and stop. And I remove the floor plan, and essentially this is what I have. I also traced in green the decks outside. You can see those on the second floor. Which then takes us to the first floor. And again, if you understand that this here is earth, so the edge of the building is here, edge of the building is here, here, and here. There's a stair that goes down, and this is the edge of the building here. These are the edges we want to draft. So I'm going to scale, and it looks like the first floor is 9 feet floor to floor. So I'm going to draw a projection line up, and then I'm going to scale, using my scale, I'm going to scale up 9 feet. I'm going to plot that point, and we'll project up at all the corners that we have, and we do the same thing we did before, which is from this point you can take your 45-degree triangle and draw lines and connect. And wherever they meet those vertical lines, I can guarantee you it's the same 9 feet. I'm going to plot these windows. You see these windows on the first floor. I'm going to measure them. They're 2 feet deep, and they come off about 6 feet off the ground. And so I measure that and scale it off, and I put those windows in. I've also located this pair of doors right here. You can do it in the same way. If you look at the floor plan, this floor plan doesn't show the opening, but it does show a little step. You can use that for a reference point and project up, and the elevation will tell you the height, and you have that door. connecting the dots, you know that the stair starts here. It starts at this edge right here. So if you project up and you know that this level is the top of the first floor, bottom of the second, then you can, and you know how far this comes out because of the floor plan, you can just connect the dots. And you have this shape, which we'll fill in later, but at least it tells us where the stair is. And you can see again that I have colored in orange the doors and windows just for clarity. And so at this point, what you will have is 3 floors, 3 separate drawings that you can now combine into one. And what I would recommend is this corner right here is the one of the corners that is prominent and is it runs from the ground all the way up. So my recommendation would be to use that line to align all the floors up from point to point. So here is the first floor, and that's the top of the first floor, and the bottom of the second floor, I connected those dots. I put this drawing over that one. You can see the first floor underneath. I know that this right here is the bottom of the 3rd floor, so I'm going to bring the 3rd floor in, align it right there, tape it all down so that it's all taped down and it doesn't go anywhere. Your lines are still vertical to your triangle and your T-square or your parallel bar. You're still at a 45 going this way, and you can start to see that you have the whole building now starting to take shape. And what this allows you to do is to realize, remember that window we drew down here on that 2nd floor? Well, you don't see it because of the 3rd floor deck. So now it's time to go over everything and see what it is that's in the line of sight and what is not. And of course, to figure out what you see on the 3rd floor, you need to have a roof plan. The roof plan is pretty straightforward. If you go to Google Earth, you will see that it's a flat roof that takes the shape of the 3rd floor. Except for there is a bit of an overhang right here over this the edge of this wall right here. So you're going to extend that out. Otherwise, you have your roof plan. And so now what we can do is start tracing. I can see that we have a little opening right at the top over here. So I'm going to draw that in. That's this little guy right here. And then I can start drawing over the windows that I had drawn previously, drawing over the windows on the 3rd floor, drawing over the windows on the 2nd floor. Here's the windows on the 2nd floor, windows on the 2nd floor. These might just show up, but I'm not going to draw them yet because I don't know what's going on over here with the wall and the stairs, so we'll look at that in a little bit. But you can at least start to see everything that you know, and there is the 3rd floor deck. Now you can start to see that the building takes shape with all 3 floors connected. As I draw in the stair, we've talked about that in class. We can talk about it some more in detail if you still can't figure it out. But you can see here is the deck coming out of the 3rd floor. Here is the stair going down. This is the relationship of the building. And we remove the sketches underneath, and this is what you need to have at this point. You've got all the windows. You've got all the walls, you've got the roof plan, you've got the stairs mapped out, you've got the guardrails here and the handrails here. We know that these are windows, and essentially you've got the building blocked out. Now you can go in and add the little shade structures that are here. You can see those on the elevations and the floor plans. You can fill in the tiles. I filled in these columns. You can see the columns on the floor plan. You can fill in the stairs. Yes, draw the stairs individually, each step. You need to do that. And then fill in the details, and you're done. That's it for this view. You can do the same procedure with the other view, which I wanted you guys to do, which is the view going this way or a view coming from the north. You can pick one. That will give you a sense of the procedure of how to go about this. You just follow the steps, keep everything straight, keep everything at a 45 and a 90 degree, be diligent about the way you work. And by the way, don't get rid of these sketches that you've done. Don't get rid of these. And the reason why is because the next step, or a later step is going to be to draw an interior view of all this at the same angle. And these will all be very helpful, and you don't have to repeat the work. So keep everything, don't throw anything away, but do be at this level for 2 views by Monday. And I think you guys are capable of doing it. If you have any questions, email me, or even put a comment on this video, and I'll get back to you guys as best as I can. Good luck. We'll be praying for you.